Jai Radha Madhava Vrinda Jai Radha Madhava Okay, anybody has any desire to hear something special?
How to interact with impudent rascals?
How to interact with
Rascals.
rascals. Okay. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text number 11. Yattamam prapatyante tamstataiva vajamyaham mamavat manavartante manusya parthasavasaha. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Peter. Purpose. Everyone is searching for Krishna in the different aspects of his manifestations. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is partially realized in his impersonal Brahma Jyoti effulgent and as the all-pervading supersoul, dwelling within everything, including the particles of atoms. But Krishna is fully realized only by his pure devotees. Consequently, Krishna is the object of everyone's realization, and thus anyone and everyone is satisfied according to one's desire to have him. In the transcendental world also, Krishna reciprocates with his pure devotees in the transcendental attitude, just as the devotee wants him. One devotee may want Krishna as Supreme Master, another as his personal friend, another as his son, and still another as his lover. Krishna rewards all the devotees equally, according to their different intensities of love for him. In the material world, the same reciprocations of feelings are there, and they are equally exchanged by the Lord with the different types of worshippers. The pure devotees, both here and in the transcendental abode, associate with him in person and are able to render personal service to the Lord, and thus derive transcendental bliss in his loving service. As for those who are impersonalists and who want to commit spiritual suicide by annihilating the individual existence of the living entity, Krishna helps also by absorbing them into his effulgence. Such impersonalists do not agree to accept the eternal blissful personality of Godhead. Consequently, they cannot relish the bliss of transcendental personal service to the Lord. Having extinguished their individuality, some of them, who are not firmly situated even in the impersonal existence, return to this material field to exhibit the dormant desires for activities. They are not admitted into the spiritual planets, but they are again given a chance to act on the material planets. For those who are fruitive workers, the Lord awards the desired results of their prescribed duties, as the Yagyeshvara. And those who are yogis seeking mystic powers are awarded such powers. In other words, everyone is dependent for success upon his mercy alone, and all kinds of spiritual processes are but different degrees of success on the same path. Unless, therefore, one comes to the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness, all attempts remain imperfect, as is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 3rd chapter, text number 10. Akama savakama va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogine yajita purusham param. Whether one is without desire, and that's the condition of the devotee, or is desirous of all fruitful results, or is after liberation, one should with all efforts try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead for complete perfection, culminating in Krishna consciousness. Amayantim Randasya Kanandala Shalakya Shakshu Umritam Nina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Nabhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Once more the verse Yatamam Patante Tamstata Vajamham Mama Vatmana Vatante Manusya Partha Savasaha. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Peter. So, yeah, this verse actually establishes very nicely that Krishna is the one who's giving the reward, that all rewards are coming from Krishna practically. So all according to his arrangements and according to his desires. And so it's explained like Krishna, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and not even a blade of grass can move without him. And everything which is happening is sanctioned by Krishna. That doesn't mean that Krishna wants all these things to happen. Doesn't mean that Krishna wants us to suffer here in the spiritual, in the material world. But he gave the sanction. He said, okay, you can go. But it was our desire to go here, not Krishna's desire that we're gonna go here. Because actually we have to understand, I accept that one part, because if we want to accept the God and if we want to turn to Him, then we have to understand He is our well-wisher. Because otherwise we never would have any desire to turn to Him. If we know He's actually not for he's not our well-wisher. So he just wants to exploit us. He's just like a tyrann or like a slave lord. Then we wouldn't turn to Him, and we wouldn't have any desire for that. So it makes sense. God is our well-wisher, and we have the fault is on our side. So there's, as stated in this verse, Yatamam prapatyante, as all surrender unto me, tam sateva bhajamyaham, I reward them accordingly. So means actually we suffer basically because we don't surrender to Krishna. That is the conclusion. So we should never lament for our suffering, because it's just our own choice practically, and it's just our own karma. We just have, it's like, das haben wir uns selber eingebrockt. I don't know how to say in English.
What?
Das haben wir uns selber eingebrockt.
We made this happen ourselves.
Yeah. But in German you had really like the saying like
Yeah,
this.
it's different.
And you can also say like,
We did this to ourselves.
yeah. Anyways, that's the own soup we had to eat. That's what we had say in German, you know. If you make the soup too salty, and then you don't want to eat it. And so in the same way, we made the soup too salty. We came now to this material world, and yeah, now we have to live with it. And so there's enjoyment in this material world, which is practically just an reflection of the enjoyment from the spiritual world. But there's also suffering in this material world, and generally we like to embrace the enjoyment, or we just have the enjoyment and never go for the suffering. And it's especially difficult because there's many other living entities in this material world. So Krishna made this perfect arrangement that actually we're not the only one who's seeking for enjoyment. Yeah, everybody here in this material world is seeking for enjoyment. And I mean, even in the spiritual world, people are, to enjoy is natural, but they are enjoying in the spiritual world. But this enjoyment we see then in this material world, it's just an illusion. Doesn't really satisfy the soul. So I mean, just to somehow I have to build a bridge now to this question. How to how to behave with rascals, or reciprocate with rascals. You mean with me, yeah? Okay. Just no, that's. I mean, one thing is, of course, the more we make spiritual advancement, the more we develop real compassion for people who are not, who have bad qualities and who are averse to the mode of sattva, who are very much engrossed in the mode of tamas and in the mode of rajas, which practically most of the people are nowadays. And the more compassion one develops, and that is one thing. On the other hand, okay, we try to seek the association of people who are living a beneficial lifestyle, means that who perform devotional service, who worship Krishna. Because in their association we get ourselves, by doing service to them, we get attracted to this devotional service. And by doing service together with them, to Krishna, we experience more bhakti. And by that, we can become more fixed in devotional service. Because that is our ultimate problem. It is not that somebody is getting here on my nerves or there on my nerves. Because in one way we have to understand, like, all the situations we are in are also arranged by Krishna. Somehow it's arrangement by Krishna. It's not like that there's a mistake in the software and somehow I got to a place where I was not supposed to be. It's all arranged by the Supreme Will. And again, Krishna is our well-wisher, so it's never for our own, for being ourselves. How to say? He's never doing something to just torture us. It's always for our own benefit. I mean, okay, sometimes we have to get some bad karma. We have to suffer some bad karma, but that's actually one way we can see them, people who disturb us. We can see them as a carrier of our bad karma. That's actually how a devotee sees them. Like, okay, I'm suffering because he's giving me a hard time, but I shouldn't hate this person because he's just giving me my bad karma. So it's not his fault. I created this bad karma. So let me not be... thank you. Let me be loving and loving to him. Yeah? Of course, it's difficult if a person is like just taking advantage of that, like whatever you. Like in the case of Oma, it's like his brother. He's like just sitting in front of the computer and doing nothing at home and throwing away his personal stuff, the personal stuff of Oma. And that's of course not good. Yeah? And practically such association, it's of course more easy not to live with such people together. Yeah? And so we can see also Prabhupada, he was living for some time in New York, and when he came there, he was living with some crazy guy, he was taking drugs, and I don't remember what exactly happened. I think he
wanted to kill Prabhupada.
He wanted to kill Prabhupada.
Yeah, but he was warned.
Okay.
In
so Prabhupada then disappeared from this place. He said like, okay, that we better stay somewhere else. And yeah. On the other hand, because it's always like that's kind of our, we try to see like a devotee, he sees not just Krishna in the temple, but he sees Krishna as a super soul in the heart of all living entities. So he sees also like Krishna is guiding these people. And so, for example, then, like Srila Prabhupada, yeah, he went to the West and he was actually facing many rascals, yeah. And not because he got a special pleasure from facing rascals or being insulted or not properly respected, but because he was very compassionate for them and was very determined to help them, even against their own will, yeah, you can say in a way, yeah? Because they would have said like, go away. But he was very determined and very convinced of this Krishna consciousness. So actually this Krishna consciousness is very strong, and at the same time we should be careful not to expect from others, yeah? Because there's actually the saying like expectations are, how I say, if you expect something, I'm sorry, I'm not the know them this all in English, in German. If you expect something from somebody else, it's like a programmed disappointment. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's a pre-programmed disappointment. So, and that's actually therefore, book distribution is very interesting service, because there you approach people and you can see the mind is always like kind of categorizing people and thinking like he's maybe like this and he should react like this. And Krishna is always a surprise, you know, like people react totally different. And yeah, the same is in everyday life, of course, yeah? But in book distribution can become aware of that because you approach so many people, yeah? And of course you have also this, actually it's said, everybody knows who goes on book distribution, that our own consciousness is very important for what's happening in our environment. So yeah, I mean it's these teachings of Bhagavad Gita, they are so pure, and so therefore they are also so difficult. Because that's so clear, and it just, like they say, like a saintly person, it said like, what's this verse again? Vidya vinaya samkane brahmane galihastini shunichaiva svapakita pandita samadashinaha. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater, an outcast. So we shouldn't be judgmental to others, and we should be. I mean, of course, we can protect ourselves if possible, and so you can maybe lock your personal stuff somewhere. But on the other hand, we should also, like I said before, we should see the sufferings which come from outside. We should see as a chance for our own spiritual life. That's our chance to surrender more to Krishna. And so actually the result is not, our mind would like to start to criticize the others and would go totally into that, you know, and explain like how he is such a rascal and I'm so nice, but he is such a rascal, so I'm so good and he's so bad. That's what our mind starts to do. But actually as a devotee we have to start then to turn to Krishna. Not starting to criticize the others, And if we realize that we are criticizing us, then we should start worshipping Krishna and be detached from what has happened. Because actually also we can understand, okay, we protect for ourselves what practically to perform our devotional service. Yeah? Therefore we protect ourselves, or we see that we get our belongings stay together. But actually we do it for Krishna, not for ourselves. Yeah? So we can see actually many times, like for example Parikshit Maharaj, he was cursed to die within 7 days, and they said like he was powerful enough to counteract this curse. But he didn't do it, yeah? He didn't feel like attacked. He thought like, okay, that's the will of the Lord. Now I will die in 7 days, and now let me prepare for this death. Yeah? So that's amazing, like, because we can see if we go out of the street and somebody comes and wants to kill us, we would maybe say like, okay, like to protect us. And I mean, yeah, generally, there's also this famous story about. Who was it again? Durvasa Muni and Ambarish Maharaj. Yeah? It was Ambarish, a great devotee, and Durvasa Muni became offended by him, and so no, was it this story actually? I don't remember exactly. I think it was another story, but anyway, there was one devotee and somebody created a demon to kill this devotee. Yeah? And the devotee himself didn't protect him, but then Krishna protected him. Yeah, it's a little bit not the best if I don't remember the names, but anyway, so I mean, it's actually practically important. As of course we're maybe not on this level, so don't worry if you still have some self-defense, because actually defending is also one of the activities which the animals, which is activity of the animals, yeah? Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And this is actually a very interesting instinct of the living entity to defend itself, and especially in the human form, because it's very subtle. Also, we defend ourselves against, not because we justify that we don't surrender to Krishna, for example, yeah? And we think we are defending ourselves. Yeah? Actually, it's for our own misfortune. So, okay, we may be not at this level now, but it's important to stick the goal, to set the goal. Okay, I want to, and therefore it's important to understand, like, a devotee is actually doesn't defend himself, or it's like totally surrender to Krishna, and whatever Krishna desires, that happens. Yeah, and otherwise you can maybe go to the police or do something else.
No. The only combination when a crime or an offense has been committed.
Yeah, I think best is if you start to take Krishna consciousness more serious, and of course you can do some things to protect your stuff and belongings. Of course we should also have take some care of the things we get from
I have to
Krishna.
find my bed and my little cooking book bag. I have to find a bag.
Yeah, you can, and maybe you can also try the empathic approach, like try to evoke some empathy in your brother by saying like, hey, this cooking book is actually important for me and I don't like it that you threw it away. Not without feeling angry on them. It's also one realization one can make very strongly on book distribution is like, if you don't react aggressive to people, then it makes a big impression on them. Yeah? Because sometimes they are like a little bit challenging, and then if you are like detached and say like, and then and don't become aggressive or like in the false ego, then these people also like they are impressed by that. So that's actually also an important part. Like, yeah, and for this we have to be, of course, detached. First thing is we shouldn't see the others as our enemy. Second thing is we shouldn't be attached to the result of what we're doing, of our actions. And yeah, we should do it as a service for Krishna. Okay, anyways, somebody else has some ideas or some comments or questions to the whole topic?
I don't know if it's appropriate. No, it's okay.
Yeah, you can say it, maybe.
Yeah, I lived with a lot of bad people in the past in Beverwijk. It was like it doesn't have a really good name, but I was properly pissed off with Krishna about this because I was with the movement a while and we prayed for this, for new house, and I didn't get it. So at some point I just stopped going to temple because they said you can better be pissed off with Krishna than to have nothing with him.
But better not use these words in front of the temple.
But the story is going to turn around and not things like that.
Yeah, but still, it's better to say like I was a little bit fed up or something.
Yeah, but that doesn't really meet what I was at that moment. But yeah, we prayed for this and it didn't work, and I didn't went to temple for a while. And at some point I was asked by somebody who was also in another spiritual group, and she asked me something of me. And then she asked me to go to a congress. So we went there and we prayed. I prayed again. I thought, yeah, let's do it again. Let's try. And then I got a new house within 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Therefore you're coming now again?
No, it's a long time ago.
Okay.
It's like a year ago or so. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I think you have to live, you have to learn something there, and then, because I learned something there. I learned how to deal with these people. And at some point the funny thing is, the last couple of months I lived there was alright, the last couple of 2 months. So I knew how to handle these people. So yeah, I learned about this. Then I think Krishna said, oh, you learned, okay, go on. Something like that.
Yeah, that's an important point, thank you. Because we think we can change things, yeah, but everything is according to Krishna's plan. Of course, we can start to criticize Krishna then, but as I said, Krishna is not, he's our well-wisher. So, I mean, of course, we can take some action, I mean, you could say like, okay, let me become a very, let me see what I can do, that I can live somewhere else, What's the set of actions? But on the other hand, some things we cannot change, but there's also a progress, yeah, that we can also do for Krishna. Yeah? But sometimes we think like this should be different and that should be different, and our mind gets disturbed with so many things. And if it doesn't work, then especially it gets disturbed and criticizes Krishna. So in these cases, we just can. No, it's actually our exercise to surrender. Like, yeah, we always asking, I have some health issues, and I'm asking Krishna, like, why I have a health issue? Like, I'm 32 years old, shouldn't have a health issue now. Was always healthy before, and why do I have problems with health? But somehow, actually, yeah, I can learn a lot from this also. Thank you. My picture is missing on this. On the hanging lights. Or maybe I'm this guy in the left, huh? Okay, then thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Wish you all the best.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Yeah, you were talking about these in the beginning of the lecture, like the different modes we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Because I forgot what you said about that. the meaning of the words you used. Like people are now in.
Sat, Raj, Tam.
What?
Satgun,
Yeah.
Raj, and then Tam.
Yeah. What does it mean?
Yeah, Tama is the mode of ignorance.
Yeah.
You heard of that before?
Yeah, the most ignorant. Yeah.
And Raja is the mode of passion.
Yeah.
And Sattva is the mode of goodness.
Okay, so it's the Indian or the Hindi word or.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah,
it's a
okay.
Sanskrit word. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Done. Okay. Then it's Sudha Sattva. That is pure goodness. That's when you're in transcendental consciousness is transcendental.
Okay.
That's all those. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Yeah.